Hi, you guys. I just wanted to make a quick video at the end of Islam, um, and I might make a second video for Taoism, but I just wanted to say something about particularly the practice this week. And the practices in general. The practices are, I don't want to say not to be enjoyed. I mean, if you enjoy them, I think that's fantastic. But it's to do the practices and then report on the experience, whatever that experience might be. And there is no supposed to. There is no right experience to have. I'm not saying that there's an experience that you could have that's better than another kind of experience, that a good experience, a blissful experience is better than a negative experience. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. There is, with respect to doing these practices, it's really simply about what's the experience. And if this experience is negative, then it's interesting to look at, well, what's negative about it then? What was my resistance to that practice, what didn't seem to work for me and why, and to try and sort of drill down a little bit underneath what was difficult about it, because there might be some interesting things to learn. Spiritual growth doesn't always happen through practices that lead us into joy and bliss necessarily. And I'm not saying that they should be unpleasant either. It's just one should be open to experience, basically, and to learning from experience. So it's really just like, what happened, and then how deep can you go in terms of your own sort of interpretation or consciousness about what happened in any particular practice. With this particular practice that we did this week, which was the La ilaha illallah practice, first of all, if you do it, it gets to be very easy. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. You don't even have to try. It's as smooth as silk after a little while. And it is hypnotic. And it does contain with it profound meaning, I think. So it's just an interesting one to try, and then sort of let it run the show, let it take over, if possible. And if not possible, then okay, what's going on? Why is this so tricky? It's ultimately it's a very easy chant to do, and so we can make it difficult. And then the question is, okay, so why are we making it difficult? Because La ilaha illallah, that's easy. Just, you don't have to think about it. If you do think about it, then the chances are you're going to trip over it and it's going to get hard. So it's really kind of just letting it run. Anyway, like I said, it's like there's no right or wrong here in terms of your experience. Your experience is what your experience is, and your experience is right as far as I'm concerned, whatever it may have been. So, but I just do encourage you to be as open as possible to all facets of experience in doing these practices. Of course, if they really are onerous, and it's kind of like a punishment to do them, then you might have to modify or really think about what's so punishing about it, what's so challenging about this particular practice. I think the upcoming practices are going to be simpler for you in Taoism and indigenous spirituality. These are going to be easier for you probably. But I do love this practice, and I particularly like that visualization of the sort of grass blowing in the wind, a cornfield, corn blowing, which is how one can visualize as just being blown by the wind as one does that chant. So anyway, enough about that one, and thanks all of you for trying it, being good sports and trying it. And so now we're moving on to going to move on to Taoism, and this is it's a big shift to move into Taoism. Taoism is a tradition I'm not terribly involved in, except through reading Lao Tzu and Shuangzi, which I've read fairly extensively, both of those. Well, the Tao Te Ching, but and obviously they're extremely interesting and fascinating. And what I particularly like is the sort of somewhat nature-based focus of them. It's a different way to look at the natural order of our universe, of our cosmos, and to derive something deep, spiritual, meaningful out of that, and it doesn't run into the sort of dogmatic God type beliefs and dogma and doctrines and those kinds of things. And it really seems to be a religion that grows out of the natural world. It's like this is just a religion that emerges from the natural world, and yet we humans then do succeed in making a religion out of it, as you'll see particularly in the video that you'll watch on Taoism. It's ritualistic and formalized religion grows out of this extremely natural tuning into the flow of the cosmos kind of religion. So it'd be interesting to see what and because we only have 1 week, you'll be diving right into the practice, the Taoist practice, and there's two. You get to choose from 2 meditations. And I think that you'll enjoy them. Whichever one you pick, I think you'll enjoy them. I particularly, I should say that in terms of meditation practice, the meditation practice where I'm particularly fond of meditation practices that take the stance that everything that occurs is perfect. Everything that occurs is what needs to be occurring, so that one doesn't try to make a meditation practice anything except for a kind of profound appreciation of whatever's happening, even if it's unpleasant inside of you. That what's arising, it's absolutely perfect. This moment is perfect. I'm particularly fond of meditation practices that do that. But the second meditation practice, that is this allowing your body to become vapor and to expand, is a very interesting one. And I'm almost thinking of adapting that one to work on my own relationship with nature, and so doing that out in nature. I think it's a powerful practice to dissolve this boundary, this sense of separateness that we have. So, but you choose, and look forward to seeing how it works for you and the readings this week. And we're sort of on the downhill slope towards the end of the course right now, but I hope you can keep the conclusion of the course is, I feel, very significant. We're now sort of becoming more nature-based. So, after Taoism, we'll go into indigenous spirituality, which is completely nature-based, and working with a spiritualized nature, I guess I would say, spiritualized natural world. And obviously, a lot of us can have a deep sense of resonance with those that kind of spirituality. So, and I think this makes an interesting bookend to this journey through the religions, and then in the final week we'll be looking at New Age spirituality. What has happened to spirituality in the last little while, the last century or so? And I think it's actually very interesting, and of course it sort of really dovetails with the indigenous spirituality, which gets included in New Age spirituality to a significant degree. But the big aspect of it is the separation of spirituality from religion, and we'll be looking at that. So I think it's a very easy or nice and interesting way of sort of wrapping up the journey through the religions to come all the way through to where we are now. And in a way, looking at all the world's religions is, even though they exist today and they have modern manifestations, it's looking at where we've been, and we're coming to where we've come to in our Western culture. And so I think that's very interesting and valuable. All right, I hope you have a good week and enjoy Taoism, and still enjoying your posts and interacting with you on your posts. And please make sure that you throw yourselves into these posts and really sort of dig in and share as extensively as possible in them, because I think that is the way to get the most out of the course, and it's the way for us all to sort of feed each other and make it a richer experience. Okay, have a great week. Okay, bye.